Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Compelling Conversations podcast. Today, I'm joined by my friend Akinwale. Akinwale, thanks so much for being here, man.
Thank you for having me, buddy.
Yeah, I wanted to begin Akinwale by discussing sleeping. And the other day, I was talking to you, and you were saying to me that you don't oversleep. If anything, you sleep, the minimal amount required for you. I'm
Like,
curious,
yeah, six,
how,
7 hours.
yeah, how'd you come to that? What happened that keeps you so,
So,
yeah.
I think when it comes to sleep, I think I have I want to say, a somewhat good relationship with sleep. Like, for me, like sleep is the most important thing for me. So I try to schedule, my sleep in such a way that, uh, I am doing something, physically taxing, like an hour or two before bed. So beginning of, as I said, I wake up in the morning around like 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I go to class. No, first of all, I grab a breakfast, then go to class, and then I grab lunch, and then I hit the gym around like 5:30, 6, right? And then when I go to the gym, like I go 100%. Like I'm not the guy that's like just sitting there on their phone now. I am going beast mode in the gym. So from 5:30 to like 7:30 each. And then I come back, eat some really nice dinner, like huge dinner around like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then usually once I come back from dinner, I'm like reviewing what I did the whole day, like in terms of classes, maybe doing like some homeworks or whatever. And usually I go to bed around like 11. It's like it just happens naturally. I think it's because of the routine of it. It's you know, doing something physically taxing and having a big dinner, I think will help you fall asleep faster. And when it comes to 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep, uh, it just happens because I've been waking up by 7 a.m. for like that's a years, honestly. And
Wow.
and sometimes even though I don't set my alarm, my body just wakes up by itself, it just happens. My body is like, maybe you sleep a little bit too much, time to wake up. And then I wake up by like 7 or 8, I'm like, okay, let's start the day. Unless unless I have unless I mess up my sleep schedule. Like if I have like a night shift, then I have to like reprogram my brain, reprogram my sleep. But it usually takes around like 2 to 3 days, and I'm back on the old 7 hours, 8 hours grind. And usually from 11 to like 7 a.m. or 11 to 6 a.m. You know, usually works like that for me.
Have you ever had moments in your life where you overslept? And did you notice the effects that it had on your day-to-day routine?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like oversleeping for me just makes me very groggy. I don't know how to explain uh in the rare situations when I oversleep, I just feel like tired the entire day. Like I just feel like I'm lagging behind on everything. I just feel very tired. I feel like having like a strict schedule of like a sleep wake cycle gives you the most energy around the day. Like
Yes.
waking up by 7 a.m. in the morning for like months, right? Your body knows, okay, by 7 a.m. I need to release some hormones to get this guy going. Your body's like on a routine, right? Versus, waking up by 10 or 11 or 12, or your body is like your body is confused. You're not giving your body the routine it requires, and I think that's not the smartest thing to do to be productive throughout the day. I just feel
Yeah,
tired. I don't know about other people.
I agree with that. Yeah. I remember hearing from Jordan Peterson how your circadian rhythm does dictate your mood for the whole day.
Yeah,
It sets
yeah.
you up. I've noticed for myself that when I sleep real late, um, it's almost as if when it becomes a habit of sleeping late, you get scared of waking up early. It's an interesting phenomenon
Hmm.
because I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like a fear of not wanting. to wake up early. And another fascinating thing that I've noticed about it is if I sleep in like late in the middle of the night, I don't have a good track record of my dreams. But
Oh
if my
yeah,
circadian rhythm is set and I'm sleeping
yeah,
early, like 10, 11, and I wake up early in the morning, it's like, wow, the dreams were so beautiful
yep,
and you remember them. You
yeah,
remember them in detail.
yeah. It's a more deep, meaningful sleep if you have like a consistent routine. Because like your body just knows, like your body's like, okay, it's time to focus on sleeping. It's like your body. I feel like human beings, ironically, I think we are the most productive when we have a certain routine. Like your life just feels a lot better when you have like a consistent routine. Eat at the same time of the
Why?
day.
Why does it feel
I,
better when you have a consistent routine? What do you think is the reason for that?
so the way I think about it is that think about your body this way, right? Think about your brain. Your brain is in a box. It's in a box in a skull, right? And you have your highs, your years, and your body, your quote unquote your choices, right? And you make choices that affect your brain, and you make choices that affect your mood, your temperament, or whatever, right? I think having a routine gives your body, or I'd say your brain, a sense of like expectation. I'd say like it
That's a good
gives you
word.
like a sense of expectation because your body is expecting something, but your body and it releases. I think it releases some hormones that helps you bed that helps you like that helps you be better at what is expected to do at that point in time. Like for example, let's say you work out every day by 5:30, right? I think by 5:30 your body's like, okay, this is the routine we've been on for the past year or two, and it could potentially be going to the gym. Maybe I should release some hormones or these hormones. Your body's used to going through this cycle over and over again, right? And I think it all boils down to like giving your body some level of like control and expectation. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
Something that I was thinking about as you were mentioning all this was when I discussed with you hard work and the grind, and I asked you if you were ever afraid of working hard, and you laughed it off and you said no. And you mentioned your, experience in Nigeria. Could you share what you meant by that and why you don't turn away from hard work?
I mean, I'm the kind of person that the harder something is, the the more like the more I feel happy when I accomplish something very hard. Like and I think it all comes down to like my stress tolerance. I think I have a very high stress tolerance compared to like most Americans. And I think it because I grew up in a developing country. And the thing about developing countries is that you have zero control. Like it's so weird. It's like you have zero control of like potentially like where to get your food, where to get water, or like what could happen to you next, right? You have the control, right? And and I was like 10 or 11. Like I my my like I don't want to say my most traumatic memory in Nigeria was when I was like 10 or 11 years old. I was coming back from school and I saw like a truck, right? Literally just squashed this woman like clean, right? And I think that was the first time in my life I was like I realized that I was a human being. Like it's like you realize that you're immortal, like you can die, right? And I think having that mindset of like I can die, and this is what I want to do with my life, and this is what I want to spend the time of my life, of my existence in on, excuse me. So I want to spend my life on, and having an uh high stress tolerance. I think for me, it just makes me a better art worker. I think that's what I meant when I said like artwork does not scare me because I feel like I've seen the worst that could ever possibly be, and American society is a lot softer than the society I grew up in. So it's like it's very hard for you to like surprise me in a weird way. Like, what I mean, let's talk about it. Like, what is the worst thing
What?
that could happen?
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, what's the worst thing that can happen to a college kid in academics? Like, I fail my classes. Boo! I'll just try again. I think comes down to like mental, mental like your mindset. Really,
Yeah.
is what I think. I might be rambling a lot, but I'm just trying to you know think
Yeah,
about
no, it's
things.
okay. It's okay. It's interesting that you're saying this because, that's the fascinating thing about conversations is that we have all these thoughts in our heads and we're just
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
trying to get them
yeah,
together. Be like, oh, what do we
yeah,
formulate out of that? You
yeah.
mentioned the softness, and I'm curious from the experiences that you've had, what do you think are the pros and the cons of that softness in our society?
I think some of the pros is that Americans are very progressive. I think Americans are one of the most progressive people I've ever met in my life. I think that's the pros of you guys, of the Americans living in a softer society. I'd say the cons would be like the drive, like it's that hunger. Like I don't see. I mean, a lot of Americans have the hunger, but like it's not. It's the intensity. I've seen better. That's what I'd say. It's like I don't always see the like that hunger, that drive in most Americans, and I've seen it in like immigrants from like India or Pakistan or like developing countries of the world. There is a certain drive that immigrants bring to the table that I'd say Americans, don't necessarily embody. And I think it comes down to like growing up in a tougher society where you have to prove, where you have to earn everything that came to you. And I think that's why I think that's why I think I think the con is the intensity of the drive, and the pro would be progressiveness. I'd say that.
How do you think people in America can strengthen that drive? What do you think about that?
I'd say the first step is to get rid of like instant gratification. I feel like most Americans grew up getting what they want when they want in a weird way, and you can almost tell like an American kid. I'm not trying to generalize, right? Because America is a very diverse society, and I cannot just say Americans. It's there is white Americans, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans. It's very hard to like, but like American culture, I'd say in general is basic consumption, and it's so easy to get what you want whenever you have it, whenever you need it, when you have the money for it. So like, I think it shows in our health issues, the obesity. You know, if you have money, you can go to McDonald's and grab whatever food you want, right? It's the convenience factor, right? And most Americans don't learn the sense of like, what if I don't do this right, so I can get there? Getting rid of that instant gratification, I think would help a lot of us, and not just Americans, but everyone in the world. Honestly, I think it's a good skill
Yeah.
to have. Just discipline and this discipline would be a good one too. I think.
It's interesting you mentioned that. Yesterday, I was reading journals by Kurt Cobain, and he
Mm.
said something very fascinating. I like killing gluttony. And I thought that was so deep because gluttony is something I've been fascinated by for a minute now. It's rough. When you get into gluttony, it's rough to break off, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the extremes.
yeah.
Have you ever encountered gluttony in your life? And if you have, how did you get over it?
I'd say honestly, like I'm not. I'd say I have a real good relationship with like food, but like I'm going to answer that question a little bit. metaphorically. Uh, I'd say I've had like an affinity to nicotine consumption. The vapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna put gluttony in that sense because it's like I think I had like a stage in my life where I was like I wanted the vape so badly. I was like a nicotine it was like a nicotine dependency back then. Uh, the way I dealt with that was understanding myself. Understanding myself and understanding like in what mood, what state was I needing this substance the most. You know, like and I realized I just went through a really bad breakup back then, and I realized that it was more to like soothe myself in a weird way. It was a soothing experience for myself. So I remember I was thinking, okay, how can I divert myself away from this and soothe myself in other ways, right? And that was when I started working out a lot, right? And I realized that over the years, uh, my dependency on nicotine has substantially decreased, and I just find joy in working out and like doing something more productive, and it's been an inverse reaction. And I think it all boiled down to like me understanding myself in a weird way, understanding like, oh, when do I need nicotine the most? Or when you're anxious, or when you're sad. Okay, how can we take those two things, anxiety and sadness? How can we how can we find something that is more productive and still helps your mood? Uh, and just having that introspective nature, I think, can help with a lot of things, self development and all that. Just knowing yourself, I think, is the biggest knowledge anyone could ever have. Honestly, truly believe that.
The things you were mentioning made me think about materialism as well, and this desire to accumulate all these things. And at a certain point, you realize, well, it's not really it.
It's not
And so, what do? You try to get in touch with yourself,
with
trying to
yourself. Yeah,
understand yourself, whether that's through a
absolutely.
productive outlet like working out or something else like art. Because I know you as well have
Yeah,
an interest in art. Can you
yeah.
please explain to me your relationship with art, how you see it, and what it does for you?
So I think my relationship with art was like a love-hate relationship. So growing up in Nigeria, right, where opportunities were really scarce, my parents wanted me to be in the sciences, because I, I was great at everything growing up. I was great at science, I was great at art, I was great at literally most things, right? I was somewhat multi-talented growing up, and I remember I would draw comic books, right? I'll make comic books and I would draw them. And my dad would come in and he'd be yelling at me, like, "It's not gonna take you anywhere, screw that. Go read a book. Go read some science book. Go pick up biology. Go pick up agricultural science. Go pick up physics, right?" And so growing up, I just kind of like, saw art as it's nothing, it's just it wouldn't get me anywhere, right? And then I got it once I moved to the US when I was 14. I took a painting class. I remember I took a painting class, and I really enjoyed it. And I did so well. I won the rodeo. Remember you get to the rodeo tournament in your I don't know if it, but my high school we had like a rodeo tournament, and I ended up placing there. My painting placed there, and over the years I started using art as a way to express myself, express my mood, express what I was feeling, right? And I fell in love with colors. So
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. When I see your photographs, what I'm immediately attracted to is the colors. I'm
yeah,
like, oh
yeah,
my God, this man
yeah,
really captured the colors.
yeah.
Like,
I
I have
love
some of your
colors.
photos screenshotted. I'm like, I specifically have them because of the color tones in them.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
love
awesome.
colors. Yeah, Mike,
Yeah.
I love colors. I feel like the best way to express something. is colors. I feel like people where we gravitate towards the subject, but I feel like if you insinuate your mood, I feel like the best way to express a mood is not through the subject, it is through the colors, the background, the interaction between the subject and its environment and the colors around it and bringing everything together. It's like a I like to see art as a complete package. Whereas some art you just take a photo, photographer just take a photo and that's it. No, I go deep, I edit the photos, I color grade everything to create the mood and the expression I'm looking for. And until then, I'm not satisfied. I spend hours on this. It's crazy. I have to create the perfect mood through colors. Yeah, I'm really deep into colors. I love colors.
Lord discusses her relationship with music as in she sees music through colors. Or like when she hears the song, she sees colors, something like that. When I heard that, I thought it was really fascinating. Have you ever, when you listen to music, do you see colors? Do you feel colors?
So if you look at most of my works, right, you can tell that most of my works are made with a certain kind of feeling in my heart. Like I am the best artist when I feel something. So like usually is I listen to music and then I feel it. I feel something. It could be love, it could be heartbreak because I broke up with a girl recently. It could be heartbreak, it could be love, it could be passion, it could be anything, right? And I just feel it, and then I pick up my iPad and I go through some of my photographs and I just start editing. So I think for me, my color signs and like my edits come from like a place of feeling. So like if you look at my works, you can almost tell what I was feeling at a certain point when I made those work. Like you can almost tell. And that's because whenever I edit my photos, I'm not thinking, I'm just feeling. Like I can't explain it. I'm not thinking at all. I'm just feeling
Do you
usually.
ever hurt yourself on purpose to feel pain, to create something artistic? Or do you ever purposely snap yourself into any emotion just to create?
It's a very tough one. No, I don't think so, honestly. I don't think so. At all. Like I think the good thing about not being an artist by by trade, because I'm not an artist by trade. I'm just doing it as a hobby. So it's like I don't have the expectation to create,
Hmm.
so I could, make it work today and then not make till like 6 months from now. And no one's gonna question me, right? Because no one is expecting me, right? I'm just doing it for fun. So no, I don't have I've never purposely hurt myself to create. But have I exaggerated my feelings a bit? So let's say, for example, right, I'm going through a heartbreak, right? For example, right, I could go to the gym, right? I could go to the gym and eat some weight and get my confidence back, right? But I listen to like some sad music, right? So that's I'd say that's the whole as close as I can say to like purposefully insinuating or exaggerating my feelings so I can make better work. I say that's the closest.
My cousin discussed with me one time how music amplifies the mood that you're in. What
Absolutely.
do colors amplify? What do you think?
For me, I'd say colors amplify the feelings as well. 100%.
The feelings as
The
well.
the feelings. I feel like when I look at a work, like when I look at like a painting or a photograph and I see the colors, it takes me to like a certain feeling. Like when I feel like when I consume art, I'm not thinking, I'm feeling. So like my relationship with any kind of art form, personally speaking, is just feeling. it's intuition for me. It's like it's intuition. I don't think at all when I look at art or peace, or I just want to feel, you know. Uh, and that's the approach I take to my work, 100%.
Are there ever days you wake up and you don't feel?
Yes, yes, 100%. I feel like being a student and having that like grind set and having that like go getter mindset. Like most of the time, I'm a very hyperlogical person. Like I'm just waking up, doing certain tasks, wake up, take a shower, brush my teeth, grab breakfast, go to class, get done with class, go to the library. You know, it's your consistent routine that I've been doing for such a long time that it's there's no feelings involved, right? But I feel like for me, I'm able to have a hyper logical mindset lifestyle because every once in a while I can sit down and feel and express all the feelings, you know, on a hard form or on a photograph. And yeah, I think for me it's a balance. You know, there's sometimes you don't want to feel. There's sometimes you shouldn't bring feelings to things. There's sometimes you should bring feelings to things. Let's say talking to your family members or talking to your girlfriend or your sister or your brother. You know, it should be more of a feeling type thing, right? Versus being at work, for example. You know, you don't need the feelings at work. You need to just grind it out. You need to make sure you're doing the most logical thing at the moment. But that doesn't make you a psychopath or anything like that. It just means that you're able to balance your mind and your heart most of the time. That's what I like to see myself as, like a balance between the mind and your heart. If you feel too much and you're too emotional, that could be detrimental, right? And if you think too much and not feel enough, that goes with detrimental too. So I think it just has to be a balance of like knowing when to feel and when to think. And it takes time and experience to eventually get there. I don't think I've gotten there, honestly, but it takes time and experience.
I'm
100%.
not sure any mortal ever makes it there either. I think it's just that constant
Yeah, I think.
struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I was reminded of when you were mentioning that is there are moments where I'm just driving my car and there's not a single thing going on in my mind. There's not a single feeling in my heart either. I'm just driving the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's it. It's
And you need that,
automatic.
right? It's like,
You did it.
well, I don't know if I can profess need it because I don't know, but I feel like I need it because it's something that rejuvenates me in some
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
It's just calming. It's like time passes faster. You're not crippled by this by the sense of time passing. You know, it's chill. I
You're
mean,
at
it's
one with it. You're at
yeah,
one
yeah,
with it. It's like
exactly.
atonement, right? Like Jordan
Yeah,
Peterson
yeah.
says, at one with it. And another thing is what I think of when I hear what you just said is like that line from The Legend of Korra,
Mm,
let go of your earthly tether. It's kind of like you drift in the wind type thing.
yeah,
You're in the air. Yeah.
sick.
Thanks, Akinwale, for being here. I really
Of course,
appreciate this.
of course.
I'm curious, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you felt like you wanted to say, but you didn't get a chance to? Or something on your mind that you wanted to express?
Uh, I was expecting to talk about views on because I have started certain school of thought when it comes to masculinity in the 21st century and what it means to like to some people versus other people. Because uh, I've always had like a sense of like what I think a man should be in a weird way, and I've kind of navigated towards it. But obviously, everyone has their own ideology, right? Everyone has their own ideology or culture, and I'm joined the military right after college, right? And being in the recruiter's office, I see a certain kind of masculinity. You know, it's a different kind of it's like a macho like kind of masculinity, right? And then I come back to college, and it's a different kind of masculinity, but they're both important, right? So I think I would like to know your thoughts regarding that. Like, what would you say is an ideal for you, and like, how do you like navigate your life around it?
I think my ideals for men I find in, say, like prophets and in heroes of myth, because those are just things that I'm interested in.
Mm,
So like these stories of spectacle, and quests and miracles and stuff like that. And I feel like those are the men that I'm inspired by because there's a heroic element to them. They have the
mm,
courage to face fears and to face reality and to not turn away from it, but to actually face it and push through and overcome. So I think that's really interesting. And then I think also just like in character and manner, like who you are and how you deal with people. I think those interactions are very important. And I think in the case of the the types of people that I'm thinking about that inspire me, that element of sincerity is
mm.
like a fire inside of them. Like it grows and it grows. And I don't know if that would be a blanket answer for it. I doubt it, but something like that. I think those are
Mm.
the types of men that I'm inspired by. Heroic figures.
Same, honestly, same.
Mm.
That makes it two of us. That's good.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being here, man. It was good
Of
talking to
course.
you. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose until next time, huh?
Take
You
care.
take care.
Yeah.
Yeah.